Welcome to our Anti-Doping Podcast, brought to you by UIPM, which is the International Federation of Modern Pentathlon Olympic Sport. Our mission with this podcast is to raise awareness about clean sport and provide pentathletes, their coaches, fans with the latest insight on anti-doping. I'm Thomas and I have a PhD in biochemistry. Alongside me is my colleague Christian, who holds a PhD in pharmacy. We are both anti-doping experts dedicated to promoting clean sport. In this podcast series, we'll focus on prohibited substances and the rational use of dietary supplements, offering valuable information to help you navigate these complex topics. Welcome listeners to this episode of our Anti-Doping Podcast. I'm Thomas and joining me is our expert Christian. Christian, welcome.
Hi Thomas.
Today we'll try to explore two fascinating topics. It's magnesium and beta-2 agonist, and we would like to focus on their relevance in sports and anti-doping. And while magnesium is an essential nutrient involved in many chemical reactions in our body, beta-2 agonists are common medication used for treating respiratory issues like asthma, I would say. So we would like to provide you some expertise so you can understand these two topics. So Christian, we can start with magnesium and with some basics. So what is it, magnesium, and how we can deal with it?
To put it simply, magnesium is a nutrient. We consume relatively low amounts of it, and therefore it belongs to the class of so-called micronutrients. Alongside of sodium, potassium and other micronutrients, magnesium is very important for our body, and this is because it helps more than 300 enzymes to function properly. And these enzymes are critical for energy production, glucose metabolism, protein synthesis, nerve signaling, cardiovascular regulation, and also bone health.
So it seems to me that it works from head to toe, but probably our pentathletes maybe connect magnesium with muscle cramps. So how is it connected to this and sport performance?
Well, actually, if you are deficient in magnesium, so if you are taking low amounts of magnesium for a long time, you develop a condition that is called magnesium deficiency. And one symptom of it might be muscle cramps.
Is it the only reason why you have muscle cramps when you perform hard?
Well, it would be easy if it was like that, but it might be one of the problems.
When you go into the drugstore, pharmacy, or to some specialized shops, you can find so many brands, so many types of magnesium. Sometimes it's only magnesium, sometimes it's with something else. So how to find your way in this mess, I would say?
Well, actually, there are generally two groups of magnesium supplements on the market. The first group is represented, for example, by magnesium hydroxide or oxide, while the second group is represented by magnesium lactate or citrate. The difference between these two groups lays in absorption of the different types of magnesium. For example, magnesium lactate is better absorbed than magnesium hydroxide. And this might sound completely in favor of magnesium lactate. However, let's say you are constipated. High doses of magnesium hydroxide, thanks to actually poor absorption in your intestines, have laxative effect and might help you with this issue. So if you would ask me how to choose magnesium supplement, my answer would be it depends, and it would be followed by a question from my side, and that's what's your goal.
So I've heard that organic salts of magnesium are much better, but the truth is they are not better, just the absorption of magnesium is better. And sometimes it can be beneficial, and sometimes it's beneficial to use inorganic forms of magnesium, right?
Depends on the situation, yeah.
So now we were talking about magnesium only from perspective of supplements, but magnesium is also essential part of some foods. So are there any specific foods which are connected to magnesium?
What comes to my mind are nuts, whole grains, green leafy vegetables, fish, seafood as well. and even some coffee or cocoa preparations. What is really interesting is that mineral water can actually be a good source of magnesium as well.
Our pentathletes probably are wondering how to achieve the proper dosage of magnesium, how to solve this problem, how to combine it with food consumption. So what is the average daily dosage for magnesium?
The average daily dosage is 350 milligrams for men and 300 for women. When you are a teenager, let's say, it's less than that. Specifically, it's 50 milligrams less. And it might be hard to actually calculate how much magnesium are you taking from the foods that you eat. Because if you are not tracking the foods that you eat, it is impossible to decide. So yeah, if you commit to taking magnesium as a supplement, I would go for the 300 and 350 milligrams if you are men or women. And in this way, you can actually supplement it.
We were talking about absorption of magnesium. So it's a difference between how much magnesium product you consume and how much of magnesium is actually absorbed by your body. So what is your advice to our pentathletes? How to calculate the dosage, the pills in the morning or in the evening, or one big dose, or what to do with that?
Well, let's say that on the label you have stated that one tablet contains 500 milligrams of what? That's magnesium salt, that's magnesium citrate or lactate. It doesn't say that you're taking 500 milligrams of magnesium itself in the tablet. So if you have to take 300 milligrams, let's say, per day, you are not good with one tablet. Actually, from that 500 milligrams of magnesium lactate, only 50 milligrams is magnesium. So you have to take 2 tablets 3 times per day. And why is that? It's because if you are taking more than 100 milligrams in one sitting of magnesium, you might develop laxative effect that might not be desirable.
Is there any scientific way how to get insights in the amount of magnesium which is in your body, and you can work with that, or it's tricky?
It's really tricky. Magnesium levels can be measured. They can be measured in blood and urine. However, the results are not entirely reliable and have to be put into individual context. For that reason, it is best to consult with your healthcare professional. It might help you if you are tracking foods that you take, because the healthcare professional might ask it and might have to assess your magnesium intake.
So what our pentathletes should focus on when they want to just follow their own body symptoms?
The symptoms of magnesium deficiency might be muscle cramps, general weakness of the body and weakness of the muscles during the training, and in very severe cases there might be some cardiac problems.
Now we can discuss maybe some benefits, so how our pentathletes can benefit from regular magnesium intake.
Well, magnesium has many benefits. To name a few, it contributes to reducing tiredness and fatigue, then maintaining electrolyte balance, supporting muscle function, and ensuring proper nervous system functioning.
When we were preparing for this podcast, we use internet to find some typical myth or true or false about magnesium. So maybe now we can go to it. So the first one is quite interesting. Is it true that magnesium can improve memory and cognitive function?
Well, it's not supported by strong evidence. Magnesium is important for brain health, that's true. However, claims about directly enhancing memory or cognition are unauthorized.
What about magnesium and anxiety?
This is partially true, it might help, but the research suggesting that magnesium might help with mild anxiety, it's not robust enough to make it an authorized health claim.
This one is interesting for our pentathletes. Can magnesium enhance athletic endurance or strength?
This is a very popular claim, but the evidence is, I would say, mixed. While magnesium actually supports muscle function, its direct impact on either endurance or strength is not definitely proven.
And what about magnesium and detoxification? Is there any connection to it?
Not exactly. While magnesium is involved in many metabolic processes, the idea of detoxifying heavy metals is more speculative than scientifically proven.
Thank you for making it clear what's true and what's false. Are there any takeaway message you would like to address to our pentathletes?
I would say that if you commit to taking magnesium, you have to really commit to it, because you will have to take three times per day magnesium in 2 tablets, I would say, for a long period of time. I would suggest 6 months and more if you are actually deficient. I would say that magnesium itself is generally well tolerated. Only one side effect or negative effect is diarrhea, so do not take a lot of magnesium in one sitting and you're good to go.
So now we can shift gears to beta-2 agonist. When we start with basics, can you explain what they are and why athletes might use them?
Beta-2 agonists are medications, so we have switched gears from dietary supplements to medications. These are commonly used to manage respiratory conditions. The most common one is asthma. And beta-2 agonists work by relaxing the muscles in the airways, and they make it easier for the patients to breathe.
And what should pentathletes be aware of or know about beta-2 agonist, because they're a prohibited substance? So how to deal with that?
According to WADA, all beta-2 agonists are prohibited. There's one exception, and that's for beta-2 agonists: salbutamol, salmeterol, formoterol, and vilanterol. These can be actually used when they are used as inhalers and within specific dose limits. For example, with salbutamol, the maximum permitted dose is 600 micrograms in 8-hour period, or 1600 micrograms in 24 hours. And the dosage limits for other 3 are stated in the prohibited list.
You were talking about inhalers and inhalation. Are there any other routes of administration which our pentathletes needs to be aware of?
The most common ones are tablets or syrups.
And they are not permitted, right?
No, they are prohibited at all times.
Okay, we were talking about athletes with some serious health condition. So if it's an inhaler, you can use it, just you have to be really careful with the dosage and you have to check it. But we were talking about cases when a healthy athlete is using these inhalers to improve their performance, or at least they think they're going to improve their performance. What do you think about that?
Well, I would not suggest it by any means, because if you have a patient that let's say has asthma, and that patient has to use medications, all of the medications have positive effects, but also side effects or negative effects. And for the patients, if the benefit is higher than the risk, the patient is good to go. The patient can actually use the medicine. However, you have healthy person, you have our pentathlete that's generally healthy and doesn't have asthma or respiratory conditions. And then what benefits are you seeking? Because the benefits of beta-2 agonists on healthy people are generally very low. And then you are left with negative effects or side effects, and there's a lot of them. And then, the benefit and the risk is much higher than the benefits.
The claim of some athletes is sometimes that they believe that these inhalers can open their airways or lungs more, so they can breathe more freely, or they can receive more oxygen and their muscles are then much better. So is there any scientific reasoning behind this?
That's partially true, because these effects are generally seen with patients. But if you have a healthy person and is stating these benefits, it might be placebo effect. And as we know, placebo is very, very strong effect, and it might be a ritual that the athlete uses before the competition. The athlete takes 2 puffs and then goes for the competition, and it's generally a ritual. So let's try to seek another rituals that do not actually contain medications, but something harmless.
What can actually happen to an athlete if he's like 100% healthy, no asthma, no respiratory condition, and you regularly take substances like this?
Well, let's put it this way. If the athlete is abusing beta-2 agonists, and it's generally that clever about it, that things that he can get around the system and actually use it and so on. So if the pentathlete is so brave and so educated, why the pentathlete cannot read the education leaflet or the package leaflet of the medication? So I would not try to say all of the side effects in this podcast, because if the athlete goes beyond what's possible and goes to actually abusing medicines, then let's say actually just try to come with the side effects from the package leaflet, just read it.
And that's a good advice basically for every medication somebody would like think about abusing, because there are always many side effects and you never know what can happen. We were talking about medication, but are there any problems with supplements and contamination or the presence with this group?
What comes to my mind is hydrogenamine. We had some cases with this substance. It might be the only substance from the beta-2 group that is not contained in medicines, but in dietary supplements. So I would be very cautious with the supplements that are claimed that they reduce the weight. So weight-reducing supplements as well as pre-workouts, because these might contain hydrogenamine. It might be stated on the label and might not. So yeah, we wouldn't generally consider these types of supplements, the whole groups of weight-reducing supplements and pre-workouts, as safe for athletes.
I believe that we have covered those 2 topics quite well and provide our pentathletes more insight to these topics. So I would just sum up that magnesium supports overall health and athletic performance, but require appropriate dosing, I would say. And beta-2 agonists can be used safely within anti-doping rules. Just be careful with the dosage, and if there is any problem, please contact your international federation or your national anti-doping agency for more information. So, Christian, thank you very much for your wisdom and for your answers, and see you next time.
See you next time.